All right, so section 5.8 is graphing absolute value functions. And again, as we said, an absolute value function has a V-shaped graph, okay? The translation is a shift of a graph vertically, horizontally, or both. And this is what we're going to be talking about today, okay? All right. Now, you don't have to write this part down. You don't have to write this part down because this is right in your textbook. It is in your textbook on page, what page is it on? 342. So, and you guys should be following along in your textbook, right? Hopefully I can edit all this extra stuff out of this video. All right, so here we have the graphs of y is equal to the absolute value of x. And this is the parent function for absolute value. Okay? That is the parent function for absolute value. And just like with the parent function for every function, it just goes right through 0 and has a slope of 1, right? So here, the absolute value parent function is y is equal to the absolute value of x. And again, it looks like this. It's going through 0, and it has, on this side, looks like it has a slope of 1. Of course, we don't really do slopes in absolute value. And then you have the absolute value, slope going 1 to 1, 1 to negative 1 on that side. Now this graph right here is the parent function, okay? But it's the parent function minus 2. And how are these different? How are these different? One is lower than the other. It's lower by how many? 2. Now if you look at this, it's lower by 2. The parent function would be right there. It's lower by 2. Going down means what? Negative. And it went down 2 spaces. Does everybody see the connection there? Okay? So, if you look at here, we want to look at this graph to the right, and we want to say, how has that changed from the parent function? I'll wait for you to write it down. How has that changed from the parent function? Okay. So if we look at this, it says, how is the graph at the right related to the graph of y is equal to the absolute value of x? The y is equal to absolute value of x would be right down here, like this. Okay, that would be your parent function, right? How does it change to go from this to up there? Now, we added 1, 2, 3, 4. So, if I'm going to write my equation, I'll write it down here. Y is equal to the absolute value of x. How do I change that? For going up, it would be plus. So, plus 4. Okay? And there is the equation of the translated graph. So far, right? Okay, now I think it's all right, so what are the domain and range of each function in problem 1? All right, so we're just going to look at this one. What is the domain and range for each of those functions? So again, domain is the input, right? And range is the output. So if we're looking at the numbers that I can put into this equation to get this value, or that graph, what numbers can I put in there? What? Any number that's not negative, the input? So that means that I would just get this side, right? The input, the x is over here. But don't I have some x's over there? So that means I can have the positives and the negatives, right? So my domain is everything, right? So the domain is all real numbers. The domain is all real numbers. Now, the range, okay? The range, if I'm looking at that red graph up there, what values will be the y value? Look at this. What values on the graph will I get for that absolute value graph? 4 and above. Does everybody see that? Because there's nothing down here for the red graph. There's nothing down here. Every output is up here. So you get 0, you're right there. -2, right there. -1, right there. 1, right there. See? Those are my y values. So my range is y is greater than or equal to 4. All right? And that's problem 1. Any questions? Everybody okay with the domain and range? We're good? All right. Now, again, this part is in your textbook. You don't have to write this part down unless you want to. Later on, you can add it to your notes. Okay? Right now, we'll just listen. So the graph of y is equal to absolute value of x plus k is a translation of the parent function. Let k be a positive number. If k is a positive number, if this is a positive number, what's happening to the graph? It goes up. Very good. Let's see. Then if we have a negative k, it translates which way? Downward. Okay. So what you could write in your notes is this right here. Positive k translates up k units. Negative k translates down k units. You can write that in your notes. Positive k, and you can also have this right here. Oops. Y is equal to the absolute value of x plus k. Okay? So if you have positive k, translates up. And when we say translate, it's just a shift. Right? Translate means it's just a shift. So it says, what is the graph of y is equal to the absolute value of x plus 2? So, the first thing you need to know is your parent function. Okay? The first thing you need to know is your parent function. And your parent function, y is equal to absolute value of x, is always down here at 0. Right? Always at 0. The parent function is always at 0. Okay? So if we're adding 2 to that parent function, which way are we translating? Up 2 units. And that's all that means. Okay? All right. So, problem 2 says, what is the graph of y is equal to absolute value of x plus 7? Okay? So the first thing, again, that you're going to look at is where is your parent function? Parent function is always at 0. Very good. Parent function is always at 0. Okay. Just get that straight. All right. So there is our parent function. If I have a negative k, what does that mean? Which way are we going? Very good. So negative k means down. Okay? And how many units are we going down? 7. So from here, we're going down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there's my minimum there. And then we're going to draw the rest of the graph. Yes? Are there any questions on graphing a vertical translation? Yes? No, because it's all connected to this absolute value, right? Because this -7 gets subtracted from whatever goes in there. Got it? All right. Good. Again, this part is in your textbook. They even have the answers there for us. We're going to look at this part down here. So, if you know the direction of a translation and the number of units, the function is to be translated, then you can write an equation for the translation. Okay? So here, it says, what is the equation for the graph of the translation y is equal to y is equal to the absolute value of x? So here, we want that parent function to translate 8 units up. 11 units up, sorry. If we're going 11 units up, what am I going to do? I'm going to add 11. So, 11 units up means we're going to add 11 to the parent function. Got it? Here, 14 units down means that we will subtract 14 units from the parent function. Is everybody clear? So, if we want to try these ones on our own down here, what is an equation for each translation of y is equal to absolute value of x? Georgianne, how about letter A?
Y is equal to absolute value of x plus 8.
Very good. Y is equal to the absolute value of x plus 8. Very good. Christian, how about now letter B?
Y equals absolute value of x minus 5.
Very good. Y is equal to the absolute value of x minus 5. And that's all there is to it. Any questions? Very simple so far? Yes.
Do you have to show them work, or do you just write the equation?
That's it. That's it. Okay. All right. So that was vertical change. Now we're going to look at horizontal change. Okay. Now horizontal change has a little bit of twist in it, so you got to pay attention and see if you'll catch it. Okay. All right. So the graph below shows what happens when you graph y is equal to the absolute value of x plus 2. And y is equal to the absolute value of x minus 2. The black graph right here is the parent function. The black graph is the parent function. Y is equal to absolute value of x. Now this graph, this red one, is y is equal to the absolute value of x plus 2. This one over here is the absolute value of x minus 2. What do you notice? Natalie?
Like the plus 2 is going to the minus 2. Everything negative is going to minus 2 is going to.
So it's the opposite of what you would think, right? You would think that if it's a plus 2, then you would go to the right. But when you're doing horizontal, translations, right? If you have a plus 2 right here, if you're adding 2, then you're going to the left. Okay? So if you're adding 2, you're going to the left. Shift left. Okay? So if you're adding, you're shifting to the left. Okay? Now, here, if you're subtracting from the x, then we're going to shift right. Yes. Yes. So here, we're going to shift right. right. Now this number right here is represented by, down here, represented by an H. Okay? The number on the outside is a K, the number on the inside is an H. Okay, the number on the inside is the H. So for a positive number, we have a positive H, it translates to the left, H units. Okay? For a negative H, that translates to the right, H units. Got it? Okay? That's the one, that's right there is where you gotta keep sharp. Okay? So here we want to know what is the graph of y is equal to x, absolute value of x minus 5. Let's put a graph in here. Let's see, let's do this one. All right. All right, so here we want to know what is the graph of x, absolute value of x minus 5. So from the parent function, do I need to put the parent function on there again? Do you want me to do that? Okay. Let's just put that up there. So here's the parent function. Okay, there's my parent function. And we want to translate to absolute value x minus 5. So, if I have an x minus 5, that means I'm going to translate, Raheem, to the right. How many units? Very good. So this means shift right. Okay? So we're going to translate, I should have used a bigger graph. To 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right here. And we're going to go up this way and that way. And there's your graph. Okay? Now I want you to notice that when you are from your parent function for absolute value, it's always 1 to 1. Does everybody see that? 1 to 1. Right? That's up over there a little bit. But then it's always 1 to 1. 1 to 1. Okay? All right. So that's problem 4. Any questions so far? Wow, this is going fast. All right. And again, you don't have to write this part down right up here, because this is in your textbook. Here it says, what is an equation for each translation of y is equal to the absolute value of x? So here we're translating 9 units right. So if we're going 9 units right, the equation means if we're going to the right, we're going to add or subtract. You're going to subtract. Very good. That's subtraction. So here, minus 9. Okay? If we're going 4 units to the left, left means we're going to add. Okay? This is for horizontal shifts. Okay? So your h will be a positive 4. So for problem 5, it says writing equations of horizontal translations. Writing equations of horizontal translations. What is an equation for each translation of y is equal to absolute value of x? So, from the parent function is y is equal to the absolute value of x, right? If I'm going 8 units to the right, which means, what does this going to the right mean? You're going to subtract. Very good. So my equation would be what, Georgianne?
Y equals absolute of x.
Minus 8. All inside the absolute value. All right? Mackenzie, how about letter B? What's that?
It would be y is equal to absolute x.
Very good. Very good. And you're done. Did we have any more problems? Nope, that's it. Let me make one up. Let me make one up real quick. All right. So what if we wanted to translate y is equal to the absolute value of x, okay? And I wanted to translate, let's see, 4 units down and 3 units right. Right?
Y equals x minus 3. Then you put the absolute value and minus 3.
Hold on. I gotta catch up with you. Say again, absolute value of
X minus 3. And then minus 1.
very good. So here, this is the translation down, right? And this is the translation to the right. Yes.
So it's minus when goes to the right.
Yes. The horizontal shifts, they're the opposite.
Okay.
Right? Are there any questions? All right. We've got plenty of time to start our homework. Your homework is page 395, 7 to 31 on.
Pen and pen.